Overwatch League Minors. Today we have round 1 of the loser bracket. Narwhals versus Error 404. Just to go over a couple of things, winner of this game gets to go on and play the winner from Adaption, Royalty Queens. A couple of things. Narwhals started off very strong in this playoffs with their first win against Royalty Queens, sending them to the loser bracket, but then fell short when they lost to the Royalty Kings. Still gave a really good fight, but wasn't able to clutch that win in the end. Error 404 lost to the Night Owls, sending them straight to the loser bracket. So this game right here is a little bit of a redemption for them. So I'm really excited to see what comes out of both of these teams. Error 404 and Narwhals have fought previously in the playoff season, so this is kind of a little bit of a rematch against these teams. Narwhals, they're a ragged team, a lot of old friends that have been playing for a very long time in this league, since Season 1 all the way up to the present, with a little break there, I think, in Season 3. But they just happen to be a very well-knit team and does very well with everything going on, being able to correct any mistakes they're doing, make their changes, and just come back and have a good game. I've also heard that over on Arrow 404, Sneaky Gamer has had the most MVPs of this season, so he'd be a good one to watch, and so is Aurelix. My apologies if I am pronouncing that wrong, but I've also heard that they like to really get in there, and I'm excited to see them pop off in this game and make it back into that winner's bracket. We're just making a few changes here, getting teams set up and ready to go. And then we can jump into these maps and these exciting Tier 3 games for playoffs.
It's always a little tight during playoffs. I get a little sweaty because I'm nervous for them, but seeing Narwhals play, I think a couple weeks ago, I think they're up for the challenge, so I'm looking forward to kind of seeing Error today. I don't think I've seen them play yet, but have you seen a match from them before? What should we expect?
I have seen a match from them. Mr. Potwash likes to pop off a lot. If I'm not mistaken, he plays an amazing tank, and just like I mentioned earlier, Aurelix, they're really a player to watch in these games. I don't see them in here right now, unless they go by a different name. But just that player, I'm excited to see a lot of big plays coming out of them. Oh, there's Atomic Aurelix. See, I'm going to be keeping my eye on you, Atomic. Let's see.
Alrighty, I think we are good for first lineups from both teams. Just double checking the center. It looks like we will be starting off on EU ping here, giving Error 44 a little bit of the upper hand here, but I think Narwhals will balance out pretty fine. It's just accounting for the extra couple of seconds it takes to orient yourselves. And both teams are ready. Are you ready for a great casting, Queenbug? It looks like we're ready to go here.
I am more than ready. Let's hop into Oasis.
Woohoo! Alrighty.
Welcome to Oasis.
I don't know. After watching Obi-Wan Jacoby on the Reinhardt, I'm expecting to see some aggressive Reinhardt here. Yet again, from from him. It might be a little scary, so I'm hoping that Error 44 can kind of account for his erratic movements.
If I can remember correctly, because it's been a little while since I've seen a Narwhals team, but I used to keep track of them in the previous seasons. And yeah, Obi-Wan has been just amazing tank, and Crisscross is one hell of a support as well. Really, really good Lucio.
Ready for battle.
Alrighty, and just as I expected, Obi-Wan Jacoby out here on the Reinhardt, followed with an Ana Lucio support combo, a Zarya, and it looks like they're going for speed and a little bit of wrestling around here, but it looks like they will have a Rein over an Air 44 as well, so they may be looking for a long fight here.
Round 1. Capture the objective.
We do have a bit of some poke going on. Obi-Wan Jacoby looking to kind of just squeeze them back a little bit, but it looks like both teams are just ready to kind of wrestle this point down from the other, and they're making sure they're keeping their resources stable by backing off a bit, but Obi-Wan does go down.
Looks like Air 404 has point control here, but they do step off point, so just tapping, and there it goes. And Narwhals, just this quick cleanup coming towards these Narwhals, pushing them back. It seems like Air 404 really did their research and is holding against this team strong.
It looks like they're making some plans here, but Obi-Wan is kind of leading them to the side here for a side encounter, but maybe they're trying to decide on what to do next and what it's going to look like here.
We do see dragons coming out to play. Doesn't get anybody, but Atomic taking out Dino. High Noon already into play, but doesn't get anybody.
Yeah, it looks like potentially like Narwhals might have to leave the map, but it looks they did get Nander just now in the Genji, so the Shatter doesn't find anybody, but actually they're gonna probably take this point.
We see Obi-Wan here just swinging his hammer, total domination, and taking over this point. With Shatter online, they are gonna push up a little bit here.
Nander does have this Genji blade going on, so in this next engagement we can probably expect the blade to come out here. We'll kind of see how that goes.
We do see window and grab coming into play, both the teams doing everything they can to keep up here. We see the Blizzard coming out, freezing both tanks as Obi-Wan just swings his hammer.
May seals off McCree and he gets taken out by Zarya.
Narwhal's just doing everything they can to clean up here, pushing for Error 404 back. They really need to figure out what they do. What they need to do. They still have 2 ults online, so potentially they can throw Bomb in and get Genji in there to do a little bit of damage. We do see Bomb coming into play. Oh, but it is blocked.
Yeah, Obi-Wan here with a Shatter online, going for that Rein shield. Maybe there'll be some little bit of a Shatter here. It lands, it finds Lucio. And there's a little bit of crunching going on. I think Ash, like Woe, is gonna maybe get a little squeeze here from Obi-Wan, and it looks like Air 44 is gonna get cleaned up a little bit here on the way out.
Quick pick on that soldier coming out of Dino, and he does have High Noon in play here. Let's see if he can get a good position and get a couple of hits.
We are still looking at a Genji blade from Air 404.
Time's at 90% and they bring out the blade. Atomic here on the soldier, almost dead, takes out Dino like he was nothing.
And they do grab that point back at 99. So Narwhals, it's looking pretty good if they can get off one decent fight to reclaim the point, but as we know, this time goes pretty quickly, and I think if Air 44 plans pretty well, 404 plans pretty well, they're going to be able to hold this.
More big ults coming into play with Window and Lizard. Hoping to get the immortality out. High Noon gets taken out by the Soldier. Error 404 doing a wonderful job being able to keep Narwhals back to keep this capture of the point. They're not giving up yet.
A shatter to keep them locked in place. 7 more seconds to go on the clock. Lucio is going for a touch here on Crisscross. He does not make it. Ash Lyco keeping Mystic at bay, and Arrow 404 claims back the point, 100 to 99.
What an exciting first round in this map of Oasis. Both of these teams are showing the go for it out here to get back in a winner's bracket.
I think here we're
We do have one switch. They decided to switch off of the McCree and May to go. Oh no, the May came back, but Dino is now running on Torb.
It looks like we're going for a side engagement here, straight up to the top.
Getting high ground control is very beneficial to them. Maybe they can get a couple of picks and then drop down on the team. But it does look like Narwhals is going to try to get up here on these stairs to try to get to them.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get an engagement from the Reinhardts here. May tries to change the point a little bit, but ends up getting knocked off by the charge, unfortunately. Arrow 404 is going for full cleanup before capping the point, and they get a team kill in the process. It does look like Narwhals is going to keep holding that high ground for the engagement process, and so it looks like Narwhals might be continuing to go on the way there, and we'll see what happens.
It's a full-out battle on this high ground. Immortality comes out, but gets taken down very shortly after. There's Obi-Wan swinging his hammer again, doing optimal damage to the team.
Atomic's going for that last second contest, and he holds on for a little bit, and the point goes to Narwhals.
Now 404 does have 40% on the clock, but Narwhals really know how to kind of drag the game out and be able to keep the point in their favor.
But Arrow 404 is coming up on 2 pretty strong ultimates with Visor and Tire, and it looks like they might be trying to get in position to use either of these. And Shatter just came online as well for them, so their ult economy is looking pretty good, but Narwhals are not far behind in the ult economy here.
No, they do have Beat and Shatter coming online. Oh, big Shatter coming out of Arrow 404.
Quick cleanup on the staircase there.
And it does look like Arrow 404 had the chance to be able to take the point out from underneath Narwhals, but the poor soldier fell at the last minute and Narwhals just took it back.
Yeah, it looks like they did use Shatter in that stair engagement, but unfortunately it didn't kind of turn the tide hard enough for them, but it looks like they're taking the scenic route to point to kind of work on that stair engagement again with as much coverage as possible.
Now we still have plenty of teams with ults here.
Tire finds 2.
Coming out. Unfortunately, Winder set off his tire as well, but was taken out instantly by the other tire.
Yeah, it looks like they're just cleaned up the May and they're going to make it down to point here. Mystic throws herself off for a reset. They do still have quite a bit of time to hold on, so hopefully they can kind of manage their soldier ult. Oh, and both support ults online as well, so this could probably go very well for them if soldier passes his visor through the window.
Window does come into play down that stairwell. Junkrat finds a few picks there, making Narwhals have to regroup. Looks like tanks are going to be able to come down and try to clean this up.
Looks like there might be a little bit of a squeeze in the side room. Immort is tossed by Arrow 4-4 to hold up their Reinhardt. May does seal it off, but it might seal off their opportunity to kind of make it here. Diva Bomb and Moira Ultimate are committed. We'll kind of see how this holds up here, but it looks like Narwhals are going to clean up Arrow 404 at 99%. This is
back and forth between these.
Yeah,
teams.
exactly.
Exciting, yeah.
It's making me a little anxious. We do have Atomic down here taking a bit of a hide, you know, to kind of make sure he has some safety to get that ultimate off, but he's going to have to kind of rush it there. They're running out of time. Visor is up. Wender taken out. He goes for Cannibalist next.
It's 99%, 99%, as Error 404 decides to do a cleanup. Beat does come out to try to protect himself, but he falls.
Rally to me.
It looks like
capture of the point.
they're going to do a little bit of pushing up here, and Atomic takes out Wender, and that, ladies and gentlemen, and theys and thems, first map goes to Error 404. So currently, we got a question in the chat if you're just joining us. This is the first map, and first point goes to Error 404.
That's a dangerous area to be in when you have Junkrats.
Yeah, closed spaces does not bode well for one's health.
Very exciting match on this first map of Oasis. From that right there, I know these payload maps are going to be absolutely wonderful because both these teams really know what they're doing, how to come in as a team, and just have this constant back and forth between them. That I think on, control maps it's going to be a little bit harder, but on these payload maps I'm really wondering if they're going to be able to keep this back and forth and kind of have like these awesome team fights and kind of like a stalemate.
Right, exactly. There was no sort of let's go to 99 and then claim. It was 36, percent, 40%, 70%, 99%, even to 88%. It's just back and forth. A lot of careful planning by both teams to kind of engage with the point in a way that is safe for them, maintains health, and also builds on their, best abilities of their players. And here we just saw great top-level gameplay from both of these teams. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing how Havana goes with the element of a payload, not procession, that's not the word I want to use, but, escort map.
Most definitely. Like I said, both of these teams are doing absolutely wonderful. Both of them are coming out very strong and wanting this win so bad to advance and hopefully get back to the winners bracket. So, it's pretty much all or nothing for both these teams right now. And we are definitely seeing it.
And for those who are just joining us, can you remind us who the winner goes on to play for next week?
The winner goes on to play the winner of the Adaption Royalty Queens. Now, I know Narwhals in the beginning beat the Queens and sent them into the loser brackets as they got to advance into the winners brackets. So this would be really exciting to see if Narwhals comes out on top and maybe has another chance at Queens. But then again, with that next game coming up, Adaption going against Will Queens, Adaption is an extremely well put together team and really know what they're doing as well. So, all of these games are all for nothing, and these teams are giving their all just to get back into the winners bracket and win it all. So no one's out of the game yet,
I feel like Havana, we're going to give like a lot of maybe Widow here, high grounding going on. There'll be a lot of room for Sniper to take advantage of all of the high grounds here. It does get a little scarier when we move on to second point, when it's like an enclosed space, but I think they'll take the same advantages here.
Most definitely, and maybe some Addo. I was trying to say too many names at the same time. My apologies. Maybe some Ashe and Widow play on defense would be absolutely wonderful to watch out of these teams.
Okay, and we are ready for map 2.
Traveling to Havana.
Yes, in the chat we have a commenter saying a lot of good team fights. We would totally agree with you. They're engaging in like a way that's making sense. They're kind of, going head to head every time that they meet. There's not a sort of snowballing. It's just, fisticuffs wherever they see each other. So we would totally agree with you.
Yes, full out brawl between these teams. I mean, they both just go head on head, and each team gets a pick here and a pick there, and normally whenever you start getting those picks, it does start to snowball, but then both teams kind of realize what's going on, are able to back up and regroup very well and just come back with full force.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
We do see Dino on that Ashe, and when they're going to Junkrat, they decided to run a double shield comp here with a Mercy and a Baptiste for defense, and on attack, we're coming with the classic Reinhardt Diva. There's the Widow coming out of Atomic and a McCree, along with Anna. Oh, switch to Baptiste and Mercy.
Yeah, I'm excited to kind of see this first engagement here. It looks like we're going for some early shots. They are aware of Dino on the high ground with the Mercy Pocket, who quickly kind of moves out of the Widow's sight line. But she's going to keep pushing, moving, and grooving here.
We have the Widow being damaged, who's here just to get the most extent out of his shot.
Diva going for this bit of high ground here to kind of start pushing them back from the top, and it looks like they are going to back up a bit here. Ooh.
Oh, the Widow takes the Ashe. It's a little bit of a hit scan sniper battle royale going here.
Ooh, we do have a battle of the Reinhardts back here, but Obi-Wan does not quite make it. It looks like they are
back to the point, being able to throw his dynamite in there and get some damage off.
Looks like they are going to bully Wender back a little bit. He's been causing some issues. He does get taken out, and Mercy pulls back Ashe like, whoa, and they're going to make this first point. We have Dino.
I'm telling you.
They're looking directly into each other's eyes here. They're not giving up any time for relaxing.
You see McCree all coming online, along with Bomb and Window coming out of Error 404, along with almost a full team setup of all tier 4 Narwhals. Jetter does come into play.
Ashe like, whoa, trying to hold on up here. He got caught in a little Junkrat trap, but it looks like he is going to make it out. Thankfully with a good Mercy and Baptiste backing him up. Ooh. Atomics does take down Cannibalist on the Mercy here. We do have a Window coming into play on this corner as they make this point. And a Bob. There's a lot of strong ultimates being committed here. Followed by Valk and Tyre.
Kind of looks like Narwhals just went to throw all their ults in there except for 2, just to try to contest this point as much as they can. dash on this Reinhardt, just swinging his hammer, doing much damage as he possibly can. Oh, and Shatter comes into play, gets multiple charge. He mechs D.Va. Reinhardt is stuck in a trap. High Noon coming into play. Oh, and it is cleanup coming out of Narwhals. They are able to take this point out of Error 404's hands.
Yeah, Dino was back here kind of taking some shots, and it was just kind of finding everybody that he took a hit on and ended up cleaning up quite nicely.
See Arrow 404 coming around the backside of the stairs to try to get high ground control away. See Bomb coming into play. Doesn't make it out of the doorway though. Arrow 404 trying to do everything they can to get past this doorway. Immortality comes out. Tyre is coming into play. Another Immortality. Tyre taking its time. Doesn't find anybody though. Big Bomb coming into play. Unfortunately falls down to the ground and doesn't connect to anybody. And Arrow 404 coming in, swinging and taking control back of this point.
Huge Shatter up top.
Wonderful.
We do have Bob on the point. Dino kind of holding high ground here, trying to get some back shots. Bob is getting his prime usefulness blocked, but that's okay. Looks like Dino's gonna make it out.
Do you see Mercy ult coming online out of Cat to just eat up her Reinhardt? But Narwhal's coming back strong and contesting this point again.
Shatter off
Big Shatter
of top.
on the high ground. Obi-Wan absolutely showing that he is the tank to watch here.
Yeah, it looks like D.Va's up here trying to give Dino a hard time, but he does drop back a little. But, you know, he's denied the high ground. I think we're going to probably see a bit of that going on as Mr. Potwash also claims, followed by Mystic, who are having a battle of the Divas on the high ground.
Oh, and the charge on Obi-Wan. Poor Ash stuck in a trap. Immortality coming out to protect his Ash. Another Tyre on play. Does find two. Big Tyre. 60 seconds left on the clock, and Arrow 404 is just falling to Narwhals. They really need to get it together and just throw absolutely everything they can. It does look like D.Va has her mech back.
I think they're going to really have to commit to, you know, their coming up ults here, which is Shatter, D.Va, and Visor, and possibly Valak if Mercy can get a couple of healing, you know, pieces off, but it looks like they're just going to have to kind of throw everything here. 30 seconds to go.
Now that point isn't that far to move, so they could really just get in here and push as far as they can. Here comes out all the ults, Shatter, nerf this, it's all coming into play.
We do have Baptiste window from Narwhals, Mystic taking advantage of finding Reinhardt here. We do have D.Va Bomb from Arrow 404, finds Baptiste in the back line. I wonder if it's going to be enough. Mr. Potwash is out. Crisscross is back on the board thanks to Mercy, and Narwhals hold them halfway. Whew.
You know, with the way Arrow 404 was coming into those team fights on that high ground and being able to push Narwhals back like they did, I really thought they could have came back and just snowballed it into there as best as they could and got that point. I mean, it didn't have that much far to go, but Narwhals is just showing that they are not going to back down. You may pick my teammates, but we're going to stand here and stay strong. And Obi-Wan absolutely doing wonderful out there, just swinging his hammer and getting those picks and doing absolutely everything he needed to do to help his team.
Absolutely. Such a strong Reinhardt play from him, especially when they start losing members. He kind of makes sure to stay a little bit safer, but he's not letting them have any space at all, which is the scariest thing about him.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
Now let's see if Narwhal's attack is just as good as their defense. You see several switches coming in on their DPS lines. We've got a Torb and Hanzo on defense, and a Torb and a Hanzo and Junkrat on attack.
1. Attackers incoming.
Don't worry, my friend. Surge at your shield. I'm escorting the payload.
Obi-Wan shielding from initial high ground damage here. He's taking a peek at the surroundings, seeing what's going on. But he is ready to kind of meet Ash like woe on this corner here.
Both teams giving their initial damage here, trying to get around this corner. We do see immortalities coming out for both teams. And we start to see the downfall here with the poor Ash on Reinhardt getting taken out in that corner. When the main tank falls, the rest of the team kind of has to step back a little bit.
Oh, but the Torb turret doing a little bit of work here finding Dynamite, and he's just a little free back here, you know, creating some stress on them while the turret takes, you know, some responsibility for a couple deaths back here, but he gets taken out unfortunately.
The attire coming into play does find the Baptiste. Shatter coming out of Ash in the pen. But Wonderful just right there and sends a bomb right into him.
Atomic on this Torb is proving to be quite deadly, taking out 2 people in that last engagement, and looks like Air 404 is going to be able to hold on this corner for a little while longer. Ooh, taken out by Dynamite.
Almost got the res off, but unfortunately it didn't get to finish there. You see several ults coming on mine. Window does come out along with dragons kind of zoning and back them off, but unfortunately only gets the Ash.
We do get a res on Obi-Wan here, fortunately, but they might take a couple steps back to kind of reevaluate, but they are not. Obi-Wan is ready to go, and him and Ash like we're meeting in the middle. Once again, Shatter is off.
Big Shatter
Huge
with
bomb.
a bomb to finish off. Immortality does come out to protect the Reinhardt. It looks like just a quick cleanup here, and Narwhals will continue to push this point.
Torb, unfortunately, not able to get out of the window in time from D.Va.
See a bomb coming out with immortalities in play. Another tire coming out of window. Let's see if it can connect and take a few out. Does take out Atomic. Bob does take the Reinhardt out, and it's just a cleanup on this point, and Narwhals will take first point.
Fire, but this witch doesn't burn.
Arrow 404 does have Torb ultimate online, so maybe they can use that to kind of slow down the clock here, because Narwhals does have 3 minutes to push it a couple meters, and it's looking a bit tight for them.
Narwhals keeping one on point. Little rest, push up high ground here. Shatter comes into play, but does not connect to anybody. And Error 404 is able to get the cleanup and contest this point. Oh, the Shatter and Dragons. Dragons doesn't take out anybody, but Shatter is able to get the Junkrat here. We have both the tanks and a support on the high ground trying to push alone, and D.Va is right in the middle of them. Well, they're all on the high ground. This core point is slowly backing up, kind of regress a little bit of their movement that they did have.
Cannabis does get taken out.
This has become just a full alt battle right there.
It looks like they're gonna keep it moving here. They've done some cleanup on Arrow 404, who have a minute 30 to kind of make sure they're holding them back, but they're moving this point quickly. Looks like there's some general poking going on up top here, and it looks like Ash like Will is just gonna have to push out and quickly here, but Mystic is right there for them.
You see the D.Va trying to touch point here. Reinhardt charges into a room. People just keep falling. Both of these teams doing absolutely everything they can. Shatter comes into play with a charge. Doesn't connect to anybody.
Oh, I'm getting a little afraid. We're coming down in kind of last engagement here. 30 seconds to go almost. And it looks like Arrow 404 is holding pretty steady, coming up on some powerful ultimates like High Noon and Baptiste Window. But we do have Junkrat Tire coming up and Window for Narwhals. So it looks like there's going to be a DPS BAP combination here for the last fight.
I do have to say, you know, Ash coming out of Dynamite was able to contest that point with Bob and keep that high ground and just really stick it out there without dying for the rest of the team.
High Noon! Pines too, and
these are on point.
This is Winder's kind of last chance. Also finds
with
two.
A big tire.
Victory.
And Narwhals enters the board.
Yes.
Holy crap.
This game is not over yet, you guys. It is now 1-1, tied up here on map 2.
I gotta say, Wonderful has not. Him and these tires, he's going for multiples every time. He's walking away with 2, 3. He's not a one tire Junkrat at all.
Most definitely, and every single time a tire has come out in these games, it has been an absolute game changer. And you can see by that last tire right there, gave them the rest of the push that they needed to capture Havana.
But I think we're about to move on to every Overwatch player's favorite place. Do you know where we're going after this?
Kings Row.
Literally the best map in the game. For the Paris fans out there, please escort yourself off of our Twitch. We would appreciate that. No, please stay for the giggles. We really love like a good turnaround here, and I think Kings Row just allows for so much freedom, and I've never seen anybody mad at a Kings Row map, honestly. So both teams are probably super jazzed to be moving on there.
And what's going into map 3, this is still anybody's game. Like I said, both these teams giving it all, and just these team fights back and forth have just shown that these two teams are equally matched and is giving us the most exciting games that I have seen in playoffs yet.
It looks like Narwhals are requesting a 5-minute break, maybe to rehydrate and, you know, prepare for their next moves, but we will be kind of moving on once they are back from their break.
And while they're taking their break and we're switching sides and everything, what was your favorite play in Havana?
Oh, excuse me. Wonder in these tires are what support fears are made of. And so I love watching DPS plays, but I do not love DPS plays happening to me. But he is making like great use of, you know, where he is on the map and his locale and how it's, you know, what's safest for them, and he's making it work. Like I was really expecting to see the May out, but he ended up kind of really just making sure that he was, you know, kind of ready for them, and then, you know, just 2 and 2 every time. But what about you? It's a lot going on in these games today.
there most definitely is a lot going on in these games. I have to say, this back and forth between these Reinhardts have been absolutely wonderful to watch. Obi-Wan just coming out here strong and showing dominance, where Ash in that last match showed just as much equal dominance, but was not able to push Obi-Wan as much as he probably would have liked to.
Yeah, I'm a bit afraid of Obi-Wan personally. I think in our league we do quite a couple pickup games, and I don't think I'll ever play a pickup game with Obi-Wan if I can avoid it. Unless he's playing for me, then I'm all in.
I remember back in the day when we were doing all of the pickup games within the league, and a lot of tier 3 members would make it Obi-Wan and Dynamite. I mean, just, yes, they are very scary, and to see them on the opposing team, especially for someone like me, kind of makes me shake. But if, like Error 401, I keep saying 401, 404 comes out here, they're not shaking, they're not worried, they're giving it their all and giving us a great game to watch.
Yes, our chat is also a little busy in here. We do have a vote for Bob as MVP. I can understand that. I can understand that.
Not just any Bob, but the Nano Bob. I think that was exceptional.
Yeah, I think having Dino kind of find like these spaces, if not the high ground, kind of making sure he's behind them, kind of picking them off. It's getting a little scary. The way they kind of move between the maps, and I think a lot of everybody on both teams are being very intentional with kind of like how they're going on these engagements and when to commit ultimates. And as you saw in that last push right there, we had Tire come out, we had Windows from both teams come out, and then we had High Noon come out. So they were really playing for like the dozens right there. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on who you're talking about, Narwhals ended up kind of cinching that last point and making it to the map here. So, still being 1-1, it still could be anybody's game today.
I agree. I'm excited to see maybe if this goes all the way to map 5. I mean, like I said, both these teams coming out and giving it their all, neither one of them wanting to lose this. So I really think in the end we will have all 5 maps, and both these teams will just give the absolute best show they could.
Yeah, I think playoffs is going to be a map 5 just round of games. Like we had Crimson Dragons and Morrigan earlier this week, or on Friday a couple days ago, and they went to map 5. And so I think we're going to probably see a lot of map 5 going on here, just because everybody is just giving like their best to make sure they're making it to finals, and it's going to be pretty sweaty for us casting as well.
I have to agree. Every playoff game so far has been exceptional to cast and to watch, and I always say IOWL do have exceptional teams throughout all of the tiers. So just any game you get to watch with any of these teams always gives you that wow factor and that excitement, because you never know what's going to happen. Like you said with the Crimson and Morgan game, Morgan was on top. They were 2-0, and Crimson just said, wait a minute, what's going on? And came in and reverse swept and took the spot away from Morgan, pushing them out of playoffs as Crimson got to extend into the next round. So both of these, all of these teams, they're unconventional sometimes, and they're just have their shit together sometimes, and it's just so enjoyable to watch.
I know I'm already thinking about how map 5 is going to be quite the nail biter, because it's Ilios, which just has so much like room for opportunity, and it's already thinking about it. I'm a little nervous because we're going to have to see like these two Ryans continue to just go head to head in the Ilios pit, in the lighthouse, and it's going to be a little stressful. And I think we're going to, from both teams on every map, we're kind of just going to go either 2-2 or all 3 maps, or it's going to be really a nail biter out there. So if you're just joining us, both teams are on the map with 1-1, and we will move on to our next map, which is King's Row, at the end of the break.
I do see a switch coming in from Arrow 404. I see a Radic came in for Mr. Giggles, if I'm not wrong there. So maybe that will give a little bit of a change up to their support line.
I believe so, because Giggles was doing pretty well out there as support, and him and Jedi were kind of working together, I believe, on Oasis, so it looks like they may be kind of working to their strengths here in King's Row. We might see maybe a Moira or a Lucy, something that Erratic might be a little bit stronger at here in their current setup.
And it does look like Narwhals, if I'm not mistaken, is going to stay up with the same line, but they are the one taking the break, so maybe they're trying to talk it out and see what they have to switch up to be able to take these next maps. I do believe this is an EU map, right?
You are correct, and thank you for mentioning that, because we do have a question I believe you can answer in the chat. Someone wants to know, are these both NA teams?
So Arrow 404 is an EU team and Narwhals is an NA team. So this definitely could come down to a battle of ping. We saw Arrow 401 able to take the first map, which was EU, and Narwhals taking the second map with it being NA. So really this might come down to battle of the ping with these teams, depending on how King's Row goes.
And it looks like Narwhals are not going for any changes here. They were waiting for a couple members to come back from, refreshing and everything like that. So it looks like we're ready to go to King's Row. We do have a comment that Dino thrives on EU ping. We shall see. What do you think?
I can believe it. Dino coming out here very strong as DPS. I know personally with me being NA and playing on an EU team, I've learned to thrive on EU very well. So it's not impossible. So this is definitely exciting to watch both these teams come out here, with King's Row being the favorite map amongst all of IOWL. We're international, and having all of these teams from all different places and all of us kind of coming together saying, King Row is the best, makes it very exciting for this to be one of our maps between these teams.
Ready for battle.
Oh, we're seeing something new come out of Atomic Arlix here on the Pharah. I'm a little terrified of Defense Pharah. That's an interesting pick.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
It is, but hey, if you can keep up in the sky and just keep sending those, I can't think of what her rockets, there we go. Keep sending those rockets down, you can keep Narwhals back pretty well.
We are in this together.
5, 4.
But I do believe, Atomic is going to have to watch out for Dino here.
Yeah, we do have Obi-Wan confidently stepping forward here, not afraid of a challenge. Oh, but Atomic does find Dynamite. Unfortunately, his counter holding very strong.
Well, Narwhals having 2 fall is kind of not very well with their advance here. They're going to have to back up and regroup.
Oh, we do have Dynamite switch off Ash to Widow. He is looking to give Atomic quite the hard time in the air here.
Sometimes that's what you need to do, because Atomic was just doing wonderful being able to zone them and keep them back. But we do see Narwhals finally taking the advance to point here.
Obi-Wan. Oh, unfortunately finds Canna Bliss, and he's also antied here. Excuse me, Ash like, whoa, finding Canna Bliss, excuse me.
Both these teams still have plenty of players on the board here. It does look like if the Baptiste and Diva are on the high ground just trying to take it, Atomic out.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't have like the same sort of verticality to kind of go up there until Farah gets back, so they might take advantage of being back there for a bit.
We do see them taking advantage with the Diva on point. Oh, but she gets slapped.
Shatter off in the front by Ash like, whoa. Canna Bliss, unfortunately.
Giving Dino a run for his money here. But he is trying everything he can to take him out. Oh, but he falls to Atomic. This Pharah is being a very big advantage for Arrow 401. Ooh, the big ult on Winder, but unfortunately falls to Winder as well. You see Window coming into play and Shatter on point as Narwhals is able to take control of this point and get one tick.
Wonderful, looking to make it hard for Ash, like, whoa, and we do also commit grab for Dynamite. A lot of ultimates going online here. But it looks like Arrow 404 is not going to give up this point quite easily. Narwhals may have gotten a tick, but Arrow 404 said, not second.
We do see some switches coming into play here. Atomic did get off the Pharaoh and went McCree along with Dino going McCree and Winder going Echo. See this McCree Echo duo here can give them a little bit more of an advantage into the push. Oh, McCree in the backline, a big anti on the Echo, but it doesn't look McCree is not able to escape from their DPS.
Echo doing a bit of poking here on the bottom with her tank, and it looks like she is going to go for Ana here. Erratic does get taken out though, and they might be able to kind of move here if they can get a little, you know, a couple steps together, but she's out of there. 30 seconds on the clock. What do we think's going to happen?
I don't know. We do have a couple of ults coming online for both teams. Unfortunately, Arrow 404 has more ults online potentially than Narwhals. So I think this is really going to come out to a all ult battle in the end here with 10 seconds left on the clock. Narwhals really need to push this point. The tank does get on point. Let's see if they're able to...
Oh, Shatter! They get rotated.
High Noon coming out into play from both teams. Both teams just dropping left and right. See bombs coming into play. Oh, but unfortunately, Narwhals was not able to capture more than one tick. Well, they got a little bit more than one tick, but this is very unusual for Kings Row. Usually people do get in there and be able to get that payload, but like I said, you know, Arrow 404 is coming in here. They don't want to lose this. So they did absolutely wonderful with Atomic on that Pharah in the beginning, and then switching over to the McCree. Just did an absolutely beautiful job of being able to keep Narwhals at bay.
I think playing to their strengths here. I think they're keeping, you know, Narwhals on their toes and making those changes over in Arrow 404, because you expect them to keep playing the Pharah because it's working, but they were pretty smart in noticing that, you know, Narwhals had the spawn advantage. They could just make changes on that Pharah as much as possible, and they dropped it right away, and it kind of worked out for them. He's able to build up Noon right before last fight, and it goes off. He found 2, and it could be, you know, a little tight here, considering that it's 1.5 ticks, only 53.8%, so a little over half. So they're really going to have to move quickly here, but it looks like Arrow 404 is going to continue on the Pharah trend, but introducing a Genji on Atomic, and Nander, instead of a hit scan, is now going to be the Pharah.
I think that Pharah definitely has to watch out for Dino, because he is now switched over to the Soldier, maybe to give a little bit more damage and kind of like bullet spray instead of having just a straight hit scan on this EU map.
Get over here and heal up. I'm powered up.
Obi-Wan falling pretty quickly here. That can be very troublesome for Narwhals coming into this team battle.
Looks like Ash like, whoa.
On point.
Ooh, Cat feeling a little ambitious and does get off the res on Ash like, whoa, in the side room, who is on his way to point with Obi-Wan, taking him on a trip.
But unfortunately, Ash does fall again, and Narwhals is able to keep control of this point.
Wait for me!
Just a scratch.
I think if we want to run down the clock, Mystic might find an opportunity here to throw her Diva Bomb, but we'll kind of see what goes on here.
There goes the Diva Bomb. Finds three!
Ooh,
Big Diva Bomb
three.
coming out of Mystic.
Ash like,
Poor
we're
Ash
going,
over here by himself, yeah.
going for maybe a little bit of extra damage before he bit the dust there. But he'll be back in time for a couple more pushes. 2 minutes on the clock.
The deflex coming out of this Genji, able to deflect every fire strike coming out of Obi-Wan. But Mystic there just needed, like usual. The Dragon's coming out of the play and grab ult. So many ults coming from both the teams. The minute and 50 seconds left on the clock. We see a Nano Reinhardt in play here. Soldier does take out the Ana. But Ash does a quick cleanup and it looks like, oh, they just might have this. A little bit of zoning ult there at the end coming out of the Pharah as Error 404 is able to take King's Row, making it 2-1. I do agree with the chat ults being used very well here and very beneficial to both teams. Like I said, both these teams are coming in here and giving it their all and showing this back and forth battle, both of them knowing what to do and what not to do to try to keep the point or take the point, and it's just amazing to watch.
I think they are just like combining them in such a way that it's a little stressful to watch, because it's like sometimes like it doesn't always work out. Usually if you're playing competitive and you throw a bunch of ultimates and you kind of don't work out, but it seems to be working out for both teams like every time they combine some ults, and so they end up finding at least half the team dead through an ult, but they manage to stabilize. It's really crazy, the back and forth from both teams here.
I do have to say I can't talk today. My favorite play of the game coming out of King's Row had to be Mystic with that huge 3-man bomb. That thing was just executed beautifully and was able to take quite a few out.
I know, I was sitting there, we were spectating from her view, and it was like, well, what, is she going to do it now? Is she going to wait for, a huge moment? But she saw opportunity and certainly, stepped into it at that moment, and it paid off, immensely there. And it kind of slowed them down quite a bit for them, to hold on for just a little bit longer.
I see that we are moving into Temple Anubis, a Junkrat's playground. I'm excited to see these Junkrats come out to play. I know Winter's been doing absolutely wonderful with his tires, so I'm excited to see what they bring into this game and how Winter plays this Junkrat.
I do expect him to see him on that. I would be curious to see if either teams would consider, a Symmetra here, for quick moving around back of point, or, just kind of quickly taking the battle to them. So I'm interested in how they'll kind of take the choices on DPS here, because there's a lot you can probably pull off.
Most definitely, especially with those turrets. Those turrets do a lot of damage. So if you get them placed right where the other team cannot take them out, I mean, it could just slowly start taking people out and not letting anybody advance to the point.
Alright, it does look like we have some noted changes here. Jedi will be stepping in. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, stepping in for Erratic, and Giggles will be in for Cat. So again, we have a change on the the DPS. Not DPS, excuse me. Both the support line, I believe.
Yes, we saw Mr. Giggles in the last couple of games doing absolutely wonderful. This is the first time I'm seeing Jedi, I believe, so I wonder if these little bit of changes here will help bring out more of an advantage for Arrow 401 since they are ahead in this game.
Exactly. And for anybody currently joining us, do you have the score for us?
It is 2-1. Arrow 404 is in the lead.
But it looks like we are switching back to NA ping here, so we might see Narwhals take a little bit of a step up as well. Maybe we'll get to 2-2. Oh, and Sneaky Gamer for Arrow 404 has joined us, and he will be taking the place of Nadnerb. Hope I'm saying that right.
Who knows, maybe Sneaky coming in gives them more of the little change up and advantage that they need on Temple of Anubis to be able to win this series. But I know Narwhals is not going to give up yet, so I'm excited to see what they bring in here to try to stop Error 404.
I know, maybe he'll be truly sneaky, because honestly, I don't know exactly what they play, so anything that they will do will be shocking and surprising to us all today.
Most definitely.
Okay, I think we are done with final changes. We are just waiting for the okay, go ahead. If you were just joining us in the chat, we'd love to hear your predictions on who might walk away from today, and we love your engagement with us. We appreciate you spending your afternoons with us.
It's always a joy to have everybody in the chat watching these awesome games that are being played in this awesome league. And, being a caster, we enjoy casting every game that we are able to cast, and we just hope that the teams as well enjoy it.
Oh, we do have...
Would you see a prediction?
Yeah!
Yes.
What do we have? What do we have?
We've got Seabake coming in with Narwhals 3-2.
We shall see. We do have Anubis and Elios to go. It can be anybody's game at this point.
Most definitely. Quite the odds. With this being on NA, like I said, sometimes it comes down to the ping. Who knows? Maybe Narwhals can take this, and we do go into a map 5. If we do go into map 5, of course, it's control. And like we saw the first control game, it was just a full-out battle between these teams. So if we do get to that point, I know it's going to be just nail-biting on the edge of your seat to who comes out victor.
Yes, we are taking a moment here to just make sure we are prepared, and there are some admin things to kind of look at the moment. But I agree. It is cool watching other teams. You can learn a lot and just enjoy Overwatch in another way. I agree. I feel like for a league like this, it's really good because we have a bunch of different ranges to see from tier 1 to tier 5. Watching the Overwatch League gets a little intimidating, but I feel like here we can kind of be more comfortable knowing that, we also can play with this skill set too. So thanks for joining us.
Lou coming in the chat saying, Dino, we need a Torb carry. I believe he brought out the Torb before, if I'm not mistaken, and did pretty well. So, I mean, on Anubis, a Torb can do a lot of damage too, especially on defense, but it does look like Narwhals will be attacking first. So, attack Torb could work. And I have to agree with that, Solo. I do believe we will go to a map 5, and we just don't know who will win. I can't say enough that both these teams are just coming in and bringing it all and just having this full-out battle between each other to be able to win and advance on to the next round and possibly get back into winner's bracket. I know both these teams would absolutely love to be back in that winner's bracket, just for another chance to be able to take it all.
Yes, I do agree with Solo here in the chat saying that the Torb on Havana was crazy for sure. And I agree. It's like having a 7th player, and so he was just kind of back there trying to scrambling them into the turret's sight lines, the turret's taking a bit of a mountain. He got a couple picks on the Torb back there, so it was really strong for them.
We do love to see a lot of Torb play. I mean, he's one of my more favorites to play for DPS, just for the fact that you can have that 7th man. His turret does give out a lot of damage and help turn the tides sometimes with teams. So it would be very exciting to see Dino come out with that Torb. What's your favorite hero to play on Anubis?
I think my favorite hero would be the one that allows me to live the longest. But usually, for defense, I would prefer like a Baptiste, just because he's a really stable support. We can kind of allow the freedom on a Mercy to challenge any air, particulars that might be going on, like an Echo or Pharah, or a Pocketed Widow or anything like that. So I can maintain the tanks as best as I can, and that usually seems to work. We buy a lot of time with Immor as well, but it just never knows. But sometimes I also do get into the little bit of a pocketing for trying to clean up fairly quickly. But those are my top favorites. I also would prefer a Moira too, but I'm not the greatest Lucio, but would prefer one. What about yourself?
Honestly, I like Baptiste. Baptiste is able to keep those angles on the high ground there and just dump out as much healing as he can to the rest of the team. So that's usually my go-to in support. On DPS, I like to play, some Ashe or some Junkrat. Junkrat is very big on this game. This map in general can do a lot of damage with all the small corridors trying to get to that first point there, first and second point, honestly. And then, of course, tank, I love me some Reinhardt. Always go to Reinhardt.
Yeah, I have seen some stable plays on the Ryan Arisa on Anubis, but ever since the introduction of Hammond, he's been kind of tossing up the little changes a bit, because he can knock people down in either direction. You can just brawl on them. He's dragging people back to point. We used to have Sombra for that sort of thing to kind of get them to move around, but with Ball, it's like a whole different thing. He's causing a bit of damage, a little bit of spring up. There's a lot that can go on here, but I would also, now that I've said it, I would be interested in seeing a Ball here. Just kind of like with all the free high ground they can get and the kind of things they can clamp onto, there'd be a lot of ways to move here.
And that first capture point, spin to win. That's all my ball knowledge really goes to. I haven't played a whole lot, but I know how to spin to win.
Sometimes I wonder like how well like these maps would go if they removed just one particular element. And I think that for, as you just mentioned, the fountain spin to win, if they just got rid of the fountain in the middle altogether and it's just a flat square, would they still be able to contest like that?
You know, that's a good question. I think with all the high ground being able to latch onto the high ground and drop down on the point, I think they would still be able to contest fairly well without the fountain in the middle. But you just never know, especially if the other team has something that can do a lot of damage to a ball, like a McCree or a Sombra, anything to try to demobilize the ball in any way to take it out. Can be an upside, especially on, you know, these type of maps.
And both teams are ready to walk on. Let's go to Temple of Anubis.
Now entering the Temple of Anubis. Initiating match.
I'll be interested in seeing what Sneaky Gamer picks as his first introduction to the game.
I was told that Sneaky Gamer is probably the most valuable player coming out of Arrow 404. So it does look like they are going to play the Pharah here.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
All systems operational. Diva, ready for combat.
Again, coming out with that defense Pharah from Arrow 404. So I wonder if they're going to do the same that Atomic was able to do and just keep Narwhals back.
5, 4, 3, 2.
We do have Dynamite on the Widow, so it might be a little bit of trouble for Sneaky Gamer here.
Just what they needed.
Sneaky already taking a couple of shots from that Widow there. You see Arrow 404 trying to go around the right side.
My healing spell is upon you.
Mystic trying to do everything she can to get that Pharah out of Sky. But Sneaky does take out Dino.
Looks like there's some bottom room antics going on. Sneaky taking just a quick look at the Diva, but back over the wall again to cause some high ground damage.
Does look like Norwhals is, oh, and the ult comes out to play. Sneaky doing absolutely wonderful out here. Does get the res off too. And Sneaky is still in the game here. Have a little bit of an air battle going on here between Sneaky and Dino, but Dino does fall.
Yeah, I think Sneaky is pretty sneaky. He's been in some interesting angles so far. He's taking a bit of the ground, taking a bit of the air, and I think he's moving and grooving here pretty quickly. And a kind far as well, he picked up his Mercy, ready to go on to the next fight.
I think Dino trying to do everything that he can to take out Sneaky. I think Sneaky being the, just like, you know, they said, the most valuable player, just dumping out absolutely so much damage. And a double kill there coming out of Sneaky. They really need to take this Pharah out of the game to be able to advance. I do have to give props to Mr. Giggles doing a wonderful job keeping his Pharah up with the equal healing to damage boost here.
Yeah, the best way for any sort of pocket to go in is a Mercy knowing quite the right balance of keeping her, you know, pocket alive, but also making sure they're committing to any sort of, you know, healing that's needed. Oh, we have a tire. Shatter in the bottom room, and it looks like Mystic's gonna get a little bit of a squeeze here from it. Ash, like, whoa. And I like the change coming over from Narwhals here on the double hit scan. They've had enough of this far, and they are ready to see her go today. Ash, like, was making it a little difficult. He takes out the Ash.
Sneaky Gamer does have his ult online still with his Mercy as well. Like I said, you know, this Pharah is just doing an amazing job being able to keep this team back.
30 seconds.
Nerf this.
Diva Bomb not quite finding anybody, so they will be a full engagement here. Sneaky Gamer goes off and finds one. Teams are equally matched 5-5 here, but one loss is a DPS and one loss is a healer. Mr. Giggle's trying to figure out what to do. He gets taken out by Bob, unfortunately. And unless there's a last touch from Arrow 404 here, it looks like Narwhals are gonna comfortably sit on this point. And they do.
Yeah, it does look like Diva decided to retreat back to her team, just going ahead and giving it to Narwhals. You know, sometimes it's about the long game. With this being a close respawn, they can easily take this point and keep it.
Yeah, it looks like there's a bit of planning going on if we're going to head left for engagement here, just kind of covered, but Atomic Carls does find Dino, unfortunately. So it might be a little bit of a reset here since they're missing a critical DPS.
Oh, but they do get the res on Dino, so Dino is back in the game. We have a tire coming from the backside. Oh, but it's kind of stuck. Let's see if it could go around and get someone. Does get Dino.
Dino, who just came back from the dead, has been returned by Atomic.
Justice reigns from above.
Sneaky with the big ult here, taking out the Re and cleaning up Winder here.
I don't know. I've seen, now that you've mentioned it and you found out that piece of information earlier about Sneaky's kind of reputation, and I do agree that he is pretty valuable here.
But like I said, you know, I really have to give it to this Mercy pocketing the Pharah the whole entire game, doing absolutely wonderful, just keeping her alive.
Yeah, Sneaky and Dino taking a little bit of time to lock eyes back here, but Sneaky knows where he's safest and he is out of there.
Thanks for the assist.
I do have to say, Sneaky does know his, you know, his area, playing this map to his advantage here, being able to stay up high and out of everybody's way and not get picked. Oh, but the Ash is trying to do a little. Dino finally takes out Sneaky. Oh, but the red big bomb out of Hot Wash.
Cleanup in the side room. Well, the Pharah was doing a bit of poking. They were taking all of that sprinkle damage, and the bomb probably really just sealed the deal for them.
Arrow 404 definitely playing to their advantages here.
And their ult economy is pretty stacked, but so is Narwhals, and it looks like it's going to be ultimate wins here.
Several ults coming online already out of Narwhals, trying to get to that high noon coming into play.
Ash like will get taken out, but he does have a shatter online. If he can make it back, he can probably throw it on the point here. But Wonderful is taking a quick look at Baptiste, making it a little difficult for him, but Sneaky Gamer just as aggressive as ever, but does get taken out. And we're gonna have Shatter for Shatter, but they're kind of equal. Oh, corner squeeze. Arrow 404 is gonna potentially hold, and they do. Whew. I don't know if I can... I need my inhaler for these games. This is too much for me.
Yeah, both these teams, I can't say it enough, coming out with all they've got. Arrow 404 just showing dominance. Sneaking on this Pharah is just like, I don't want to, you know, put together the Pharah and like a cattle dog. I mean, but this Pharah is just keeping Narwhals just rounded up and doing so much damage.
Yeah, she has been certainly kind of keeping them nice and tight. Like, even when Narwhals had switched to double hit scan, I don't think Sneaky Gamer was afraid at all. He kind of knew what his strengths were and how, you know, decent and committed his Mercy was, and ended up just, like, ripping and rolling around the map, just kind of unafraid there. But as my dreams would have it, we're going to see a Symmetra. Yes. But I think what's really going to come down here, if they're going to run this sim, I'm interested in where they're planning on teleporting.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
I mean, straight to point is always a good go-to.
And it looks like we're going to get exactly that. Jenny used Psychic. They're on their way. Looks like there's some heavy engagement going on here, but not quite a pick yet, but we'll see who kind of gets knocked off first. And are they going to teleport back out, potentially? Oh, Dynamite finds Atomic.
Hotwash is demeched, but is just going in there, shooting as much as he can. He is able to take out Wonder, but then falls to Dino.
Dynahex is stopped.
Wonder is back from the Shadow Realm, and we will go for a second press here from Arrow 404. Keeping up with the Symmetra. Maybe they'll choose a different path, or maybe they'll continue to head down the middle.
Hotwash just charging straight into the middle of Narwhals, getting demeched. But Wonder takes him out very easily. I think Arrow 404 really needs to regroup here and figure out where to put this teleporter and to get the most value out of their team.
Yeah, it looks like they're still kind of working towards Symmetra Wall as well, and they're kind of running out of a bit of time here. 2 minutes on the clock, and their engagements are long and hard, but they're going to have to make some quick moves here. Atomic does find Wonderful. Lucio B does hold up Arrow 404 as they move on, followed by Baptiste Window, but Wonderful is back, potentially scrambling with the tire. Ooh.
Dino did throw Bob onto point. Arrow 404 trying to do the best they can to get control of this point, but Narwhals are just showing this defense and domination.
Yeah, Baptiste ult does come online for Narwhals, so maybe that'll do a little bit of the change here. But Sneaky Gamer back on the fire, going back to the bread and butter of the situation, trying to make the best of the 1 minute time clock. And May blocks Baptiste's window.
That Maywall is able to, you know, take down a little bit of that time of the window. Pharah in the backline just trying to get a little bit of pick damage here. Ashe does, or the D.Va does dive on the Ashe.
Ooh, Sneaky Gamer finds Ash with a quick rocket drop-off. But she's looking at Wonderful, who also goes down.
Anna doing everything she can to stay alive on this Mercy. Boosting that Ash, trying to get that pick on that Pharah.
Ooh, also found by Pharah. I think the Symmetra was, you know, they thought it was, you know, it was fun, and, you know, but I think they were like, look, we gotta quickly move here, and they just switched back to what works for them, and Sneaky Gamer just takes out I believe four people in that engagement right there.
Now coming on to the second point, they only need to take, I believe, a tiny bit more than one tick, or just one tick. So they're coming in strong with this Pharah. Dino staying on the high ground, trying to throw that dynamite, just hopes to get Pharah on fire a little bit. It takes down the Pharah. Big pick out of Narwhals. Oh, but they do get the res, unfortunately.
Looks like there will be a left engagement here. Lots of strong ultimates coming out. Both windows, a shatter, a Sigma ult, a mail. Everything that they can throw.
Into play, yes. Dino trying to do everything he can to take out this Mei.
Yeah, it looks like Narwhal's trying to hold on pretty strong, but Arrow 404 is getting the click, and Mei seals off Arisa and Baptiste, securing them the points.
There it is, everyone. Error 404 takes map 4 and the win of the series.
Nerf this.
I'm just gonna say it, you guys. MVP of Anubis has to go to Sneaky Gamer.
I think he was truly the sneakiest, like, side in. It was, like, unexpected, because I really had never, I had never seen him play before, and so it was like he just came out just super strong, trusting his Mercy to kind of hold him up through some sweaty plays, and it ended up paying off for Arrow 404 quite well here.
Most definitely. Now, unfortunately, Narwhals are knocked out of playoffs, and Error 404 will move on to play against the winner of Royalty Queens in an adaptation, right?
Adaptation. Yes. It's the E, because there's adaptation, like the actual word, and then there's just I've asked why there's an E instead of an A, and I haven't gotten a solid answer back. But join us next week for a possible answer.
Yes. Looks like we've got Mr. Potwash in the chat, the big diva bomb gamer himself, or herself.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, how you going? How's it going? You okay?
It's going great. These games are absolutely so much fun to watch.
Yeah, it was a good game. We're pretty hyped right now. We're pretty chuffed that we won that one to get us through. Because it was a pretty tough season. Like, we didn't quite get in there, but now that we've got another chance, we're doing all right.
Mhm. Yeah, we were like sitting here like the back and forth between both teams was quite a lot. And so can you kind of just tell us like how we kind of like eked out maybe these last couple of wins? We thought Sneaky Gamer was quite the surprise. So if you could kind of just tell us the strategy for you guys going into today.
Yeah, so like we do like to run quite a bit of Pharah Mercy. Sneak is our Pharah guy. But unfortunately he was in work, but then he's managed to get back in time, so definitely chuck him in there. But both Nadnerv and Alex did a good job doing a little bit of Pharah, but once we got on that comp, we felt pretty good. Them guys are really good. They beat us 3-0 in the regular season. Like, they're a tough match, definitely. But we were proper up for it today. And yeah, we just wanted to rush him down and get that pharmacy on, really. And when we managed to get that down, we were pretty solid.
So you mentioned that they beat you in season 3-0.
Yeah, they beat us in the regular season 3-0. What was the difference? You got to ask. Oh,
yeah, what was the difference?
We had a bit of a week. We didn't have quite the players on. We only had 6 on at the time. Obviously, our squad is like 12, 14 deep. We got a big squad, and everyone plays a part. But we only had 6, and we had to, be a bit flexible. Like I was playing a bit of DPS, which I'm not entirely comfortable on. But then we got really strong. We pulled it back. We blitzed to the end of the season, but we're looking all right now. Things are looking pretty good. Everyone's all solid at the moment.
Yeah, we were quite impressed by the diva bombs that were going off from like you, and it was just insane. Like, could you kind of tell me, like, how do you guys kind of decide to use that as the engagement, or do you kind of just chuck it in there and hope for the best?
Oh, really? Well, like, I thought my bombs on Havana were terrible. Like, I got the ammo once or twice, but, like, one of them got really badly stuck on Oasis as well, but then they got a little bit better as it went on. Most of the time, I just tend to throw it in because it baits out lots of abilities. It's not about necessarily getting the big bombs, so then I'll throw it in and then we can make a push because they'll be on cooldowns, but... Then the last one on the New Abyss, I was there for ages. Should I throw a bomb? Should I throw a bomb? And we were like, we don't know. No, wait. And I was like, I'm throwing it. And then we just threw it anyway. Because we knew I had him pinned in. But luckily, Alex, Junkrat, mine, played a big part in that. But most of them are just for engagement so we can bait abilities, really. Because it's hard to get a good diva bomb nowadays with, the MO, especially with BAP. So.
It does seal off a lot of opportunity, but... You guys held up, so congratulations. Queen, any additional questions?
How does it feel to not be out of the game yet? Like, you guys came in strong and was able to keep it strong, even on the NA maps in general. Yeah, I mean, are you excited to still be in this game?
Yeah, definitely. It feels pretty good. Like, we had an alright game against Night Owls last time out. I don't know who we'll play, whether it'll be Night Owls or Adaptation, but it'd be good to maybe get Night Owls again because we feel like we've got some unfinished business there to try and eke a win from them. But no, it feels pretty good because obviously we were down and out for a bit. We weren't in the playoffs originally, and then we've been given a second opportunity, and now we're showing why we should be in there. So.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you guys moving on, and hopefully we'll get a chance to kind of cast again. I do have to out myself. I play for Adaptation, so hopefully we'll meet again, and this won't be the last time.
Yeah, I used to play against Skipper, I believe, who's in Adaptation back in the day. So that'd be a good game too.
I agree. I unfortunately can't host my own game, but
Yeah,
Jenny, Queen, if you wouldn't mind hosting for us, if we find it on your schedule, we'd love to, have your expertise in there.
Most definitely, I would be more than excited to. Just watching Error 404 come into this match and do everything they've did, and Adaptation, knowing them and how well they play, I think it's going to be another head-to-head, very strong game.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks for casting and hosting. I'll look forward to watching it back when I'm done. But watch the Grand Prix first, but then give it a good watch.
Hopefully you enjoy our commentary.
I hope so. I always look forward to it, and I know quite a few of the team do too. Quite a few will be watching it back.
Okay.
I do have one more question. Going into a game, what do you do personally to prepare?
Well, I could tell you the truth, or I could tell you a lie. It's up to you. The lie would be I'd be on quick play. I'll get ready in comp, but the truth was we were trying to sort 3 children out into their pajamas, and then had a bit of a crisis with a baby poo. So that's the truth. That was my personal warm up today. But a lot of the guys get on and do some quick play. And get warmed up. We always get in a party and relax anyway, whether we're all warming up together. Like I said, we were a mixed team of quite a few teams from our org. We played together for a long time back in comp, but Tears wouldn't allow us to play, but this time we could. So it's quite relaxed from us, actually. We're quite chilled.
Amazing. Well, everybody, you heard it from Mr. Potwash himself. Sometimes he warms up in QP and sometimes he has to deal with baby poo, but it doesn't matter
Exactly.
what he does. They came in and won this series and did an absolutely wonderful job. With that, we're going to go ahead and close this out. I thank you so much for coming in and having a talk with us, and good luck on your future games, and let's hope to see you back in the winner's bracket.
Cheers, guys.
Till then, I'm Queen. My wonderful caster and runner and host, Light, thank you so much for joining us too.
Yeah, no, thanks guys. Hopefully we kept you guys entertained and hosted a good game here today, and I appreciate it. Do you want to walk us out, Queen?
Of course. Till next time, this is the International Overwatch League Miners. We love you all.
Bye!